laugh through the whole thing. Well, usually there is, but I think this one is a surprise because it's literally the day we open, the city opens back up because we're off tomorrow. And I thought, no, we're off yesterday. And I think I didn't know that until I looked on Facebook.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it. So I think a lot of people didn't realize it. Yeah. Maybe people.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to our January 3rd, 2023 legislative meeting of York City Council. We will start with public comment on non-agenda items only. Is there any public comment for non-agenda items? Ms. Brown?
Good evening, Council and everybody. Happy New Year.
New Year.
Thank you. So I'm here just to have a couple comments about something that has been going around. I guess it's been like a rumor about this warehouse that's being built on Pennsylvania Avenue. If you didn't know, I just kind of wanted to give a little background of what myself and some concerned citizens, residents have been doing. And I have it all typed out here so I don't babble. So I come to you today as a concerned resident in the Fireside neighborhood. I do not have my MS4 hat on today. Last month, myself and a few other concerned neighbors got wind of a proposed warehouse that is slated to be built on the strip of land along Pennsylvania Avenue. The address is 1201 Pennsylvania Avenue. It's the section between Med-Ed and Prospect Hill Cemetery. But it is on the Manchester Township side of the road, which is why I can't do my MS4 stuff on that side of the road. But on December 13th, 2022, myself and these concerned citizens went to the Manchester Township Board of Supervisors meeting to get some questions answered and to get clarity. Since there was a lot of rumors going around, we just wanted to ask what was going on and get the correct answer. They told me that nothing is going on and nothing has been submitted to them about a warehouse. So I did also call the zoning officer today, and they told me that they voted last October to change the zoning from commercial to industrial. But again, nothing has been submitted to them plan-wise for this warehouse. Afterwards, a few residents forwarded me links to advertisements online saying this warehouse will be 42,000 square feet with 200 parking spaces and 70 truck bays. And and they also have this online. So I found this out, let you guys pass it around then. But they have pictures of it online. I mean, I know everybody can't see, but they're selling this thing like it's already a thing. So we dug a little deeper. So this strip of land used to be farmed and is now green space with lots of wildlife where residents, their families, and pets go to enjoy the wildlife it provides. There are deer, fox, birds of prey, waterfowl, and other animals that call this place home. And numerous people have also told me that wildlife has been hunted and killed in mass numbers within the past year, possibly getting ready for development. And this caught a lot of people's attention in the Fireside neighborhood, and people are very angry. And this is kind of how it all started. It started with the animals being killed, and people started digging and finding this information. So now I'll put on my MS4 hat really quickly to focus on the environmental sides of things. It's going to produce a tremendous amount of stormwater runoff that's eventually going to come back into York City. We're already having this issue with Manchester and West Manchester townships sending their water into the city at Roosevelt and Route 30 that flood all the time. And this is going to happen again. And this time it's going to be probably the George Street Parkway area is where it comes out. So the little tributary that runs along the Med-Ed line there on their side of the road, it goes behind the car dealerships along Parkway Boulevard and then shoots back under Parkway Boulevard into Willis Run. So it's right there at the George Street Bridge. This increase in stormwater flow is going to create large problems. Taking my MS4 hat back off. You also have to think about air pollution. I mean, 70 bays and 200 parking spaces for trucks. That's a lot of pollution going into the air. And we have Spirit Trust Lutheran on Kelly Drive, right across from this development, where residents will be subjected to noise pollution, air pollution, not to mention property value decrease. Just some economics and traffic. Property values are of high importance with this development. They will certainly decrease tremendously. Also think about the traffic. They're planning to use the entrance to the cemetery for their trucks. If you've been to the cemetery, it's this big. It's going to be dangerous to anyone visiting or walking in the cemetery, and most of the people who visit and walk through the cemetery are residents from the city. Let's not forget the tax dollars are going to go to Manchester Township. The city's not going to see any of that. But the residents will suffer the most from this. So can you imagine Pennsylvania Avenue from Route 30 to the cemetery entrance loaded with tractor-trailer trucks, 24 hours a day, the noise, the brakes making those horrible sounds, the rumbling, the back-up beeping noise, 24/7, the idling, the horns, everything you get with truck traffic. And then can you imagine living across from that after having beautiful green trees, grass, birds, and deer just outside your door? And finally, a group of about 20 concerned citizens and I met last week at the Roosevelt Fire Station and discussed what we know, a path going forward, and who we need to contact. I've reached out to my environmental friends asking for their help in any way that they can. I'm now asking for our mayor's help and as well as city council. You are all very influential and passionate people, and I know you all care about the environment, and more importantly, the quality of life and property for the residents that you serve. We are asking for any help or expertise you all can provide, even if it's just knowing that we have your support. In the cemetery, we have a lot of monuments. Our veterans have monuments there, police monuments, fire monuments. Zach and Ivan have a monument there, a memorial, and all this is going to be affected by this. And I'm reaching out to anyone else in the audience here listening or listening at home. You may have someone buried at the cemetery, or you're one of the ones that walk and find sanctuary in the cemetery, or just care about the environment and open space. We need our community support and are asking for folks to reach out to anyone you may know that could help us. Lawyers, historical and environmental groups, newspapers, media, anyone. We want to shine a huge spotlight on this project in hopes they back down from building this monstrosity, or even come to a compromise. We can talk about it. Maybe it doesn't need to be as big and preserve some of the space. We're willing to compromise. We just don't want to see the entire thing developed. But we just need our communities, councils, and the mayor's support. I know we can't do any discussion during public comment, but I'm willing to talk, meet with, or answer any questions outside of council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. And you said that's online, right? Is that online too?
Yeah, I can send a link.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Is there any other public comment for non-agenda items only?
You only have 2 copies?
Yeah, I only have 1 copy.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was just going to pass it down.
Okay. You can send the link to me.
Okay,
And
I
I'll
will.
make sure they get it. Thanks.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment for non-agenda items only? Hearing none, it is 6:09 p.m., and at this time, we will call our legislative meeting to order. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Dennis.
Here.
Buckingham.
Here.
Washington.
Here.
Walker.
Here. And if you are able to, please stand for a pledge of allegiance, followed by a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. We will now take action on previous meeting minutes from December 20th, 2022. Council, are there any changes that need to be made to those meeting minutes?
I see none.
Hearing none, all in favor of approving, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those meeting minutes are approved. The presentation that was scheduled for today will be delayed. There's some issues that need to be taken care of. So we will hear from Ms. Molinaro at a later time. Our next legislative meeting will be held in council chambers on Tuesday, January 17th, 2023 at 6 p.m. here in council chambers. Agenda items are due by 12 noon on January 11th. And our committee meeting for this month will be held on January 25th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Agenda items are due by 12 noon on January 18th. We will move on to our legislative agenda. Up first, introduction of bills. And first, we have an introduction of bill amending the financial year 2023 budget.
So introduced.
Bill number 1, introduced by Queen Washington, a bill amending the fiscal year 2023 budget for Housing Services Community Development Block Grant Budget, reflecting updates of additional actual rollover funding amounts in the rehabilitation program in the amount of $164,661.93.
That will sit until our next legislative meeting. Moving on to bill number 2, amending the financial year 2020, should that be 22? Mm-hmm. Okay, 22 budget.
Felicia, that's you.
So introduced.
Bill number 2, introduced by Felicia Dennis, a bill amending the fiscal year 2022 budget by amending for the Public Works Department to account for revenue and expenses associated with the property at 1601 Torrenita Street in the amount of $138,201.25.
Thank you. That will sit until our next legislative meeting. And my apologies because that has been brought to my attention twice. Moving on to items for consideration of consent agenda. Item 3 has been pulled. So we'll be moving on to resolution for item number 4, authorizing an agreement with Alera Group.
So introduced.
That's resolution number 1, introduced by Betsy Buckingham. Sorry, give me just a second here. Okay. Whereas the city desires to renew its agreement with AIA, Alera Group for Health and Welfare Benefits Broker Services, now therefore be it resolved, council hereby agrees to continue its services for the flat annual fee of $92,000 plus 55 cents per prescription drug script.
Are there any comments from council? Move for a vote.
It has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments from council?
I have none.
Any questions or comments from the public? Pretty standard. Did you want to say anything in regards to it?
Just making note that we've been working with AIA Alera Group since 2018 as essentially our health broker, our health insurance broker, and we've been very pleased. They've been a great asset and for us in terms of just dealing with day-to-day issues that might come up with the health insurance of our employees and retirees, but also introducing us to cost-saving programs and additional benefits for our employees. And we've been very pleased with their work, and we look forward to continuing to work with them.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Dennis,
Yes.
Buckingham,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Walker.
Yes, that is so ordered. No requests for future meetings. Is there any council comment?
No. I would just like to encourage our community on Wednesday, January the 11th. It's actually a Wear Blue Day, and it is a day for us to stand in solidarity with victims and survivors of national human trafficking. And so I just encourage our community here in the city of York, if we can wear blue on Wednesday, January the 11th, to stand in solidarity with them. Thank you.
Thank you. And just wanted to say thank you to all of the employees from the city. Kim did send us an email with the thank yous in regards to the employee bonus. So did get a chance to see some of the emails. So thank you so much for taking the time just to send a note back, just saying thank you. We appreciate all of your work. Any administration comment?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. That adjourns our meeting for this evening. Good night.